Good evening and welcome to United Therapy, real therapy people. Welcome to the therapy. We've got an important show tonight, probably one of the most interesting and important shows tonight. I've been thinking about this weekly, week in, week out, and I've been thinking, when should I make this show? Because genuinely, I really want to have this conversation, and there's nothing better than a person to have a conversation with than Saeed. Die-hard Manchester United fan, season ticket holder, you know Saeed's emotions. And he's the perfect person, and hopefully Tom will join us as well. But big up to every one of you, love and light. Big up Khalees from Medina Lassie, Chief at the United Real Therapy. Please go and make sure that you look him up at Khalees from Medina Lassie on Twitter. We've got big topics. Genuinely, I really can't wait to get into this. I genuinely cannot wait to get into this. And yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see where we go with this, people. Like, where we go for this. 100%. The question tonight is, 10 years of failure, is there pressure on Man United FC? I believe there's no pressure. I 100% believe there's no pressure on Manchester United. I really don't. Like, we had that conversation towards the end of the podcast, towards the end of the match reaction last night, and we're going to continue to have it. Big up to Tom. Tom, I'm just letting people know what we're coming up in the show. So the first question is, 10 years of failure, is there pressure on Manchester United? I'm going to tell you why I think Onana, second topic is why I think Onana and Man United are a disgrace. That's my third topic is, why is the Afghan so disrespected? Why is the African nation so disrespected? And then the last one to finish is that Erik Ten Hag's waffles are getting more laughable. He's becoming a parody, like most Manchester United managers have been. So it's becoming a more parity. So big up to everybody. I'll just go through it again for Saeed. Saeed, big up to you.
Big up, man. Big up, Tom.
Big up.
So these are the topics, Saeed, and I want to just try to stick to the topic. So
yeah,
please,
let's go.
In the chat. I'm not going to be bringing up chats from topics that we've passed. So this is a new format for the podcast. I really want to keep it as a structure. Since I'm Mr. Structure, I really want to try to keep it as
Mr. Structure.
This is as possible, right? So the first topic is, after 10 years of failure, is there pressure on Manchester United? Second topic is Onana. Why I think Onana and Manchester United are a disgrace. Tom and Saeed can happily disagree. And the third topic is why the question is, why is the African nation so disrespected? And then the third, we'll finish on a lighter one, is that I believe Erik Ten Hag's waffles are getting more laughable. Right? So that's the topics. They're the 4 topics tonight, people. So we'll go into it now that we've let people in. Big up to everybody who should be in here. I'm going to keep it big up to everybody. Isaac Hansen, Aaron would love to make things work for Manchester, but he's understood to feel frustrated by the lack of first-team opportunities. Well, this kid in midfield can hold the ball, can pass the ball, has got tenacity, can take on, can play through ball. He's got all of it, all of the fundamentals of football that Scott McTominay doesn't. Scott McTominay has got all the fundamentals to play dinosaur football from the 80s. 80s German, 80s League One, Division 1 football, hoof the ball. And you know what? If he was the best player, I know one manager that will never have played him, and that's Nigel Clough. Because Nigel Clough would never have ever thought just hoof the ball to somebody and in the hope that the ball drops to them in the box. So we know that for 100% fact. Jensen, for me, is a talented young player, and he should be playing. But first of all, Tom, how are you in the Seven Hills? How are we doing in the Seven Hills, mate? Is it freezing or what? Is it sunny?
I'm not in the Seven Hills.
Hey! I told you, international. I'm not lying to you. You don't know that he's MI6 in it. 00 Tom, mate. International man of mystery, mate. James Bond has got nothing on Tom. Absolutely nothing of Tom. Tom is a man who's everywhere. He's there. He's everywhere.
He's everywhere.
Tommy. 00 Tom, mate. 00 Tom. He's here. He's there and he's everywhere. 00 Tom. Big up to you. Where are you tonight, 00 Tom?
Yeah, we're in Canary Wharf anyway. I've had a couple of meetings this morning, this afternoon. I've had a construction price-up job that I've had to do about a couple of hours ago. So I'm kind of rushed back from that.
Look, in terms of, if you don't know Tom, people, Tom is works and sometimes has to go to Canary Wharf one of the most expensive postcodes in the whole of Europe. Let me repeat, one of the most expensive postcodes in whole of Europe.
Yep.
And to be fair, there's a state as well. I used to know a couple of people, good people, back in the day. Who used to live on the state on the other side of Canary Wharf. Those, if you know, you know. Back in my London raving days, if you know, you know, people. Back in those days when the raves used to go popping. There was a place I used to go to on the other side of Canary Wharf, get some food and keep off for a couple of hours. If you know, you know. So big up to Tom. Saeed, how are you?
Yeah, man, I'm good, man. It's cold. Very, very cold, man.
Chris,
I've got my dressing gown on. Yeah. You know what? Yeah, it was sunny, but you know what, man? That sunny is deceiving, man, because you're thinking it's Barcelona, it's nice weather outside, and then you go out, it's not that at all, man. But nah, all good, man. Just trying to get away from these viruses, man. That's going around, man. It's just, everyone's getting ill, man. So I'm, them secret coffers, Nuruddin. Them secret coffers are about now, Nuruddin, man. They're out and about.
Secret coffer, undercover lover.
Bro,
COVID affair, mate.
Serious.
That's what. Remember that we used to sing that. Man. Secret coffer, undercover lover, COVID affair. You remember, we're a poet. We don't even know it, mate. That was our lyrics back in the day. Know it. Secret coffers. Well, I'm telling you now, Saeed, it could be the chicken, like you said on the Straight Jacket podcast. So let the people know we just finished the Straight Jacket podcast.
Yeah, big up everyone, man.
Or 5? Was it the first one of the new year?
Yeah, 264. 264.
64. So go and check that out, people. But it is what it is. Big up to everybody. Love and light. Let's get into the first topic. Like, genuinely, let's get into the first topic, people. After 10 years of failure,
let's do it.
Is there a pressure on Manchester United? So first, I'll answer that question for myself. I genuinely don't think that there's a pressure. The only pressure in the last 10 years has ever been is to finish top 4. So players and managers, the only pressure that was ever set for them was to finish top 4. In terms of Manchester United being what Manchester United were as a football club under Fergie, that club doesn't exist anymore. So the pressure, there's no pressure. People are chilled. People are relaxed. That's why we see mediocre performances. That's why we see the way the club is being handled, the way that it's being run, and how toxic the football clubs. So I actually do not believe there is a great lot of pressure on Manchester United because players keep playing the same duck-shite football but turning out for the same managers again and again, even though those managers are sacked. So the reason why I think this, the reason why I believe this is that managers get paid to be sacked, they get handsomely compensated. Players get handsomely compensated. So where's the pressure? Where's this pressure? Because the owners don't ever look to win a league title or to compete for a trophy. Before Ten Hag won that, 5 years we went without winning anything. So where everybody talks about the pressure for the shirt, the pressure. And what made me realize is that I've been feeling like this for the past 5 to 6 years. I've been feeling like this, that there's actually no pressure on these players. Players now have come to get paid. Managers come to Manchester United to get paid, right? That's been the pattern. The Glazers have bought Manchester United to get paid. So it's been everybody's getting paid, FC. If you want to know what the name is for Manchester United, we've got all these different 100 different names. The name that really, the reality is, everybody gets paid at Manchester United. Everybody gets paid. It's a club where you go and get paid, right? Managers, Glazers, bankers, players, everybody, even former players come and get paid. Like Rio doing all that kind of like Marriott Hotel advertisements and all of that. Roy Keane getting on the Adidas, you know what I mean, doing all of that. Everybody comes to get paid. Like even former players, everybody comes to get paid to be a club ambassador. So Manchester United has been a place where you get paid, where you get money. And there is absolutely zero conditions other than on the manager, coaching staff, and the players to finish top 4. That is the only pressure. And why is that? It's because Glazers want to get paid extra because of the Champions League advertisers' eyes. So I'll go to you, Saeed, first. Do you disagree totally, or do you agree with my analysis and thesis of what I believe there's no pressure? Because
obviously the culture.
Yeah.
No, but it's down to the culture, innit, of the football club, innit? Because it's been failure, innit? Like we've and Van Gaal said it, innit? He told Ten Hag not to join the football club because he said the club value commercial commodities or just in general Like it's all about commercial for them rather than football. So as a thesis and a principle anyway, that's where it starts from. Everything's about money first. So money becomes before success. And obviously, in terms of what football is, winning trophies is success. Well, we've not done that for 10 years because we've thought about other things like money, like commercial, like being the best run club in terms of advertisements, etc., etc. That's what they've concentrated on, Luridin. So when you look at it, yeah, it has been. There isn't a want to win. You know what I mean? Like it's only now they're sorting out the football structure. You know, after what? How long has David Gill been have left the football club? How long? You know, and now, by the way, I don't get this sentiment that he comes back running back. By the way, does anybody like that, by the way? David Gill coming to run back to the club now that, Jim Ratcliffe is here and that. But in reality, he was always lingering around the football club, but now he wants to come back and help out. But anyway, that's for another story anyway. But now, like I said to you, I look at it and I think there's not a willingness to win. There's not a kind of a winning mentality. I look at Man City down the road, yeah, and even when you look at it, the training ground, for example, look how massive they've done that training ground. Look at the way they've done East Manchester. Look at they've done they've even got like a new, what's it called, a whole, when they play the UFC and whatnot. They have built their place to succeed. So if they're not winning, someone over across the road is winning in a different sport. They want to create a winning culture
sporting
around
complex.
Manchester.
It's a sporting complex.
Sporting complex. Yeah, like they want to build that with Man United. They're not building nothing.
Can I just hold you there? I promise you, if Saeed wanted to get paid, Saeed would have been now doing a show at MUTV. And I'm telling you, he rejected it outright. So if you're accusing him of that, if Saeed wanted to get paid, Saeed would not even talk to me. Saeed would not be on here.
I don't know about this. Dodgy Dave with them brown envelopes nowadays. You can never trust.
Listen, man.
Saeed's in his pocket.
To be fair, you know what? I'm not lying to Stephen Williams. That's what I used to say till last week or the week before. Now Dodgy Dave is there with the inhalers. You know
Dodgy Dave's there, man.
Listen,
at least they turn up local
anymore. He's not local anymore. You know what I mean? He's moved out to the edge areas. So
there you go.
Well, guys, listen. At least they're going to the games.
Dodgy Dave's flat. Tell the truth.
Listen. At least
Dodgy Dave and the quarter sexuals. We've been saying it, guys.
Listen. At least they're going to the games. At least they're going to the games and they're seeing everything. It's better than the Glazers, what they're doing. You know,
Murta went to the games, and what did that do? Murta went to the games.
Yeah, he did have fault, to be fair. No, but you know what it is?
Woodward, you saw Woodward and tried to speak to him. Woodward went to the games.
He ran away. He ran away. He ran away from me. He had about 5 security guards around him. I said to him, "What are you doing in the January transfer window?" And he was just like, he just walked off, man. You know what I mean? So, listen. I look back at United, and just going back to what I was saying. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, we got top 4's priority and trophies are added bonuses. Yeah, big up. Nah, it's not even added bonuses, man. But go ahead, Saeed. Go ahead.
But even that comment there, top 4 is seen as a success. When reality, that's not even a success. Is that a success though? Top 4, that's a success for the club because then that means they get more money. You know what I mean? From the transfer revenue and Champions League revenue. Yeah, it helps us buy side players. But no, man, I'm not really seeing that success. But that's what football has become now for United. If they get top 4, it's in success. And when you said, Nuruddin, when a manager can't get top 4, he gets sacked. He looks like he's not about to get top 4. So that's again the measurement of success. So, and also, Nuruddin, it's fans like you that don't like these Carabao Cups. That's another thing why United have not been doing well for so many years. Because we're turning our nose down at trophies like the Carabao Cup, the Europa League. So it's fans like you, Nuruddin, that have caused 10 years of failure for turning your nose down at the Carabao Cup. Listen, man. If we won the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup every year, I'd take that, man. Because like I said, we're 10 years without a Premier League. 10 years. How long will it be now? You said 10 years. We're entering the new decade now. If my kids don't have a Premier League trophy by the time they're 10, 11, that's crazy, Nuruddin. That's mad. That could be 20 years. They could have a depressed childhood. That's why I said, as much as I want my kids to be United fans, you got to watch out for them, but you got to say, listen, do you want to watch football? Do you want to just, do something else? Because they might want to be City fans. They might say to their friends, nah, Dad, I want to be City fan. Because all my friends are are enjoying themselves at school and they're celebrating trophies, and I'm just there saying, "Well, United, United." You know what I mean? I can buy him a season ticket and whatnot, but ultimately, it's that. You know, so from top to bottom, the football club is rotten and it has this defeatist mentality. There's no winning core mentality. We had that with Fergie. Fergie carried the football club, guys. He carried it. Now that he's gone, we're always looking back. Why do you think that always the camera looks back at Fergie? Oh, the good old days. Sky Sports love to do that, you know. Oh, there's Fergie looking miserable. You know, he doesn't look happy. Well, of course, because that's the last time we won something and we were genuine first people. So that's my 2 pence on that bit.
Tom, please, you thought about the answer to this question. I just want to just get it right for the people. Big up to everybody. Please smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel.
Like the video.
Subscribe. We're shadow banned, we're demonetized, but we don't care. We shout free Palestine till the day we die, mate. That's what we do.
Free Palestine.
Free Palestine. Big up South Africa for bringing that the court case against.
Big up South Africa, man.
Big up South Africa.
Absolutely.
The big thing is this, Tom. I don't think there's any pressure because everybody's getting paid regardless. Like I said, even managers get sacked. They get the biggest pay. No other club in the last 10 years has paid more money to compensation to managers than Manchester United.
Yep.
Let me repeat for the people at the back. No other football club in the past decade has paid more money in compensation to managers than Manchester United. So this is where we're at. By the way, people, go and check out the Trade Jacket podcast. I went fully Rasmus Hoyland Defense League. Tonight, I was crowned the president, the CEO, and the chief because I'm not having him get scapegoated. I'm not having young players get scapegoated. But it is what it is. So go and check out the 264 Straight Jacket podcast and get in the comments.
Yeah, man. Good podcast.
Agree with me, or do you agree with Saeed? So we call him Saeed and Dave, because obviously, you know, Saeed and Dave are best buddies now. Saeed's doing a propaganda for Saeed, Dave. But Tom, so do you understand what I mean in terms of what I mean by pressure? Is there pressure? Do you notice there is pressure? Because Erik ten Hag basically came out in a press conference and said, "Oh, it's a big pressure to play for Manchester United." I'm like, what fucking pressure? Manchester United do not compete. Do not compete for Champions League or league titles. That's pressure. That is pressure. When you're competing for the Champions League and league titles, that's pressure. So where is this pressure that he's talking about?
Well, I've said it before and I'll say it again. We are a commercial institution. That's what we are. And if Manchester United didn't sell the amount of tickets or have the amount of fans worldwide that they do, the Manchester United wouldn't be as successful as it is financially. And let's face facts, guys. Financials and football, if you differentiate the two between United, financially we've been a huge success. The brand's grown by at least 6-7% than what it had done in the last decade. You look at the financial spreadsheets where we even made money through COVID, and how we was around to swim around that. They've just signed up with Adidas for another £1 billion for a 10-year sponsorship agreement. So that's another decade sort of their major sponsorship deal. Like, commercially, they've been a success. The football has been just dire. It has been. And as much as people say about the fear factor of Manchester United's gone, you can't look at anybody in any part of our football club and say that when you go against them in anything, you fear them. You don't go into a meeting to discuss a play negotiation and John Murtough sat at the other end of the desk and you're shitting yourself. You don't. You seriously don't. Let's face facts. In the same case of if you have it where Erik ten Hag goes up against Pep Guardiola in the touchline, it doesn't hit the same. It really doesn't. There's no identity with our football club. That's the biggest thing that I think we've lost. And it doesn't take. You don't get the old guard out, so Alex Ferguson and David Gill, and they get their old compasses out, and suddenly they're going to point you north. It's not going to happen. You need some people who have got new. You need new blood in this football club. New ideas, new philosophy, new blood. And as much as it's coming out now and it's starting to unravel with the sort of Dan Ashworth comments are starting to come out and everything, it's funny that you mentioned that with David Gill, Saeed, because they were putting him now in the framework to potentially be the new technical director or transfer advisor. because Newcastle want at least £12 million in a payoff.
Yeah, they want a big compensation. Yeah, you're right.
To release Dan Ashworth, and it would be the highest ever paid director to be bought out of a football club if United had to pay it. £12 million for a sporting director, guys. I don't really think it's worthwhile. I don't think it makes smart sense unless Dan Ashworth is this sharpest tool in the shed. And all I'm going to say is this. Guys. If you're going to
dodgy inhaler.
All I'm going to say
is
this.
Cycle, Tom. The Stan cycle.
If he wants to come to our football club, why are we having to pay so much for a guy who, let's face it, he's not exactly come out and put himself in the shop window. He's not been preaching out there and quoting saying, "Oh, I wanted to work for Man United. Man United, oh, Ineos and Sir Jim, they're going to pay me well. They're going to do this, that, the other." He's not exactly put himself out there, has he? Let's face facts. He's not. He's on a project. He's on a journey with Newcastle. He's been successful with England. He's been successful with Brighton. Newcastle's his next step up. And he's got all the money in the world to do whatever he wants with that football club. Manchester United right now, you can't say that. John Murtough ain't going to steer the flagship for Manchester United going forward. Erik ten Hag probably won't be the manager in 18 months' time. When those comments were coming out that we discussed last night, Nuruddin, it sounded like a guy, and Roy Keane made the comments anyway, it sounded like a guy who knows something's going to happen, but feels like he's not going to be a part of it. It's like he talks about the words like a project. When you mention the word a project, you're either inclusive in it or you're not. And I don't think Erik ten Hag has had that power from above, either in Brailsford, Ratcliffe, whoever, to say, you're our guy. We empower, we trust you. If we were going to pick anybody in world football, we'd go with you. I don't think that's the philosophy that they're going down. I really don't. And if we're going to summarise it as a whole, the failure of our football club always comes from the higher ups and the hierarchy. And the Glazers will always stick by the same principle. Commercials, finance over football. That's how this football club will be. And as much as people want to twerk and jump on Sir Jim's dick and Sir Dave and Dodgy Dave, like, these lads are condoning what we've all shouted about for years. They're going to condone what this family wants to do to our football club. But so long as they bring in Paul Mitchell, so long as they bring in Dan Ashworth, it's going to paint over everybody's eyes. We're not thick. We're not blind. You don't bring in Dan Ashworth and suddenly think that everybody's going to get giddy and get riding. Oh, Man United are back. We're not going to be back. Newcastle, in what they've done, in Newcastle's the best example you can use for a club that went from fuck all to something special, and they've got a projection, they've got a future. It took them 18 months just to do that. 18 months. And let's face facts, they should have won the Carabao Cup against us. They were the better team. Albeit we scored the goals, they were the better team on the day. And as a whole, collectively, we don't have any forward thinkers. There's no motivation. If we were a proper football club and Sir Jim and Sir Dave say that they're going to come in, they're going to make Manchester United great again, right, that's all right saying it, lads. You're not here to make money. You're here for silverware, all this shite and everything. Right, put your hand in your pocket, Sir Jim. Build Manchester United a new stadium. I don't want to hear this. I haven't got the money or anything like that. You have a company that makes $60 billion per year. You, on your own, have a net worth of over 20. Sell some fucking assets and make Manchester United great again. If you care about this football club as much as you say that you are. And I've said it before, Nuruddin and Saeed, and I'll say it one last time. I tell everybody that if he was going to come in and he wanted to do things different, get on a plane from Monaco to Manchester, fuck off about going seeing the staff at Carrington or anybody like that. You go to Old Trafford, you sit with Manchester United fans, supporters, trust, whatever, representation of this football club, and say to them what you're going to do with our football club. Then, when you tell us what you're going to do, follow up on it. Go and speak to Murtough, sack him, Richard Arnold, do whatever you've got to do. But if you're not going to be direct with supporters, don't bother being here. Because we're just going to look at you in the same way that we have done with the Glazer family. And
Listen,
one last thing. You don't buy in to a business at 25% if you don't expect to make money. Because if you don't want to make money, you buy something in its entirety. Because why? You are in control then. You control what you can make and what you can't make. At 25%, you're going to do fuck all, Sir Jim. You might be able to appoint Jean-Claude Blanc, handsome-looking Frenchman, Dodgy Dave with a fucking shaved bald head, and the inhalers. Is it going to do much to our football club? We're not a modelling agency. We're not a fucking cycling institution. We're a football club. And these people don't have that qualification at this level. And I have no basis to back it up, guys, other than I know Dodgy Dave's a cycling expert, not a football expert. I know Sir Jim's a successful businessman, not a successful sportsman because of the Ineos curse. And the only person that I know who's actually done something decent was Jean-Claude Blanc when Juventus built their new stadium.
He built them up.
He consulted the fans and he built that football club up from fuck all to something. That's the only thing that I know about those main three people coming into our club. Apart from that, I know Dodgy Dave's fucking dodgier than fucking David Cameron. I know fucking today. I know Sir Jim Ratcliffe dodges the taxes in this country because he lives in Monaco.
Facts.
And Jean-Claude Blanc's the only one that really, out of all three of them, has some football credibility. But he's a CEO. Right. And if he doesn't have control, he's not going to be able to do anything, is he?
Right, Tom. Listen, let's move on to the next topic. I think both of you have answered that and analysed it to the context, what is needed. Let's go quickly with this one so we can go through to the next, the couple of other questions. The question is, I think Andre Onana and Manchester United are a disgrace. And they're a disgrace for disrespecting the Cameroonian National Federation. And the Cameroonian Federation are cowardly. They've not come out and made a statement. They've kept quiet. And Onana is just the biggest coward because he doesn't want to be not in goal for one game. He is going to now miss the first game because after that game, he's going to fly out. And then it's going to take him 2 days to adapt, reacclimatize to because it's summer over there in the Ivory Coast. And then what's going to happen is going to happen. So I really hope, and I don't wish this on anybody, but I genuinely do, because I think the way you disrespected the Cameroonian fans, pick up Jarvis, and my theory of failure, Manchester United players might feel like imposters due to their huge wages, despite the hype. They struggle with self-doubt, anxiety, and constant fear of being found out. Well, there's no pressure because they all get played anyway, Jarvis. They can sack 3 managers and still be at the football club. That's who you are as a football player. There's chill. You actually get rewarded with new contracts, right, left and centre. To me, Andre Onana and Manchester United are shameful for disrespecting Cameroon Football Federation, and Manchester United should be held in contempt for that. I personally believe. I'm ashamed. So I would like to take this opportunity to the Cameroonian Football Federation and say I genuinely apologize. By the FIFA rules, when you say that you need that player, if the player's not injured, they should be reporting ASAP on the day to meet up with the rest of the players to get ready for the tournament. Mo Salah went after the game the other day, one or the day after, flew out there to reacclimatize, to then prepare for the tournament. And I think Andre Onana is a disgrace for that because he's too chicken. He's a shitbag, absolute shitbag, because he don't think that Houghton or Band.
But he's also rude to the Cameroonian people. He's their number one.
Yeah,
I think, did he not give him the second chance now? Is he not been second time where he's had a little bit of an issue as well?
Yeah.
So I feel like, to me, it's very, very disrespectful, man. And you know what, man? Like, it's the fact that you're in and out. Like, you want to stay, you won't want to. And why are you scared about your position at United, man? You're the main number 9. You're the main number 1 there, the keeper. So why are you scared? I mean, like, what's this kind of mentality that, you're worried about your position, bro? Go to the African Cup of Nations. They don't get coverage as it is. Only Sky Sports now have picked up this AFCON, by the way. Did you know that, Anurudin? Only now have Sky Sports picked up. So you are a Premier League footballer now. You're meant to be one of the faces of African football now. For me, it's very, very... This is before I think of what I think of Onana. But I just think the little bit of, do I want to stay? Do I want to go? Like today, there was reports of basically he wants to delay even more and maybe not even want to go as well. So that, for me, I just think it's a joke, man. The way it's been handled as well. Man United allowing Cameroon today this and that. Like, just make
They should fine him, Saeed. As a federation, they should fine him and they should say you'll never represent your nation again. Fine him and take some responsibility. Because in the same way with Manchester United, you can't. Are you seriously telling me that if there was a Euro, that when the Euros is on, if Manchester United don't want Marcus Rashford to go, that England are going to bar me and kick up a fuss? Let's face facts, they're probably not. So why are they doing it with Andre Onana? Why? Because it's the AFCON and he misses partway through the middle of a season. We're not going to play many games, guys. What are we playing? 2-3 games in January. What are we missing? What are we missing?
Yeah.
And in the same
but I just
fold,
think it's
if he stays now, Saeed, he shouldn't have played yesterday, right? He shouldn't have played yesterday. He shouldn't play Spurs. You are potentially going to put Bayinde in a high octane game up at Wolves, and you're going to expect him to pull off a masterclass. Wolves will pepper us.
He might be backed by Wolves, you know. He might be backed by Wolves, you know. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think he might be backed by Wolves.
I don't know. I don't know the scheduling of it anyway. But at the end of the day,
let me look at the AFCON now.
Yeah,
AFCON
fixtures. It is a disgrace though. And even what you were saying, Nuruddin, just to add to it anyway, like Manchester United in this situation, they're not, guilty. They're not, as plain sailing as people will make out. You're withholding a player to go and represent his nation for what? For what reason at all? It's not like the guy in Ten Hag.
Yeah.
He bought in,
so round of 16
two goalkeepers.
Starts on the 27th of January. So he could be out by then. They could be out by the 2nd of February. They could be out. So round of 16. February. No, so the round of 16 starts on the 27th of January. Sorry, 27th of January.
Yeah.
So that's before Wolves. We play Wolves on the February the 1st. So if the quarterfinal happens, he'll definitely miss the quarterfinal.
But if they make it through, though, then that's
if they make it through. Yeah. So
fair enough then.
So he may not miss a game. He might actually not miss a game. You know, he may not miss a game.
Wow. That's what I'm trying to say to you. So that's what I'm trying to say to you. I genuinely do not believe. I believe that he's disrespecting his own country, and I think Manchester United are disrespecting the Cameroon. And as a Manchester United fan, I would like to apologise on behalf of as a fan. I would like to. I'm one fan, but I would like to apologise because I can see what's happening. Because the guy is so insecure because he knows how shit he's been. He knows how shit he is, and he thinks shit. If Bandier's in there, then I might be out. So at the end of the day, it's an absolute joke. Well, we'll move on to our second.
I think it's very insecure. But you know what it is there? I don't want to bash the player. Listen, Onana, we want him to do well, but I think for me, it's the way you do things in life, you know what I mean? Like, just go out normal, come in and out. Like, there shouldn't be any drama. But with United, though, Nuruddin, that's what United... You're talking about failure. Drama is one thing that is a part of failure as well. That, you don't need drama. Big clubs that have done well never have drama. Never. So...
Yeah. I don't want any of our playing internationals, England or any other country. I'm a United fan. Now, 100%. Listen, I respect that. We deserve better. I respect that. You're one of those fans. But unfortunately, big up to you, Money Penny. Big up, love and light. Unfortunately, you don't understand the fact that international football is real and FIFA have rules. And the rules say that you need to basically, literally get... when you get called up by your country, you need to go straight away unless you're injured. You know what they do, Saeed? They're that even that far. They send visios on doctors from that national team to check out if you're injured, if you're not blagging. Because remember, so many people never used to go. Used to think you were blagging. And anyway, we'll move on to the third topic, which is quietly linked. And I'll go to you first, Saeed. Why do you think the African nations is so disrespected? Is it because of Africans? Mainly, the people like African players playing in Europe. They play in all of the top leagues in Europe. And everybody rates them. Mane, Mane and Salah, both of them kicking it up in Liverpool for years and years, went to 3 Champions League finals, won a league title, contributed heavily to the resurrection of Liverpool in that football club. And there they are, the disrespect of this trophy. I don't see the same level of disrespect happening to the Latin American. So what is it about Africans that's so disrespected? Everybody thinks that it's low, it's lower rate, it's lower class, or it's lower.
Yeah.
What do you say?
That's why a lot of people, when people say, "Oh, why is it every 2 years as well?" It's because obviously you need to give it more exposure as well. Like, not many people want to watch the African Cup of Nations, man. I think for me, it comes down to the perception of African football. That's what it comes down to, man. I think a lot of people think, because it doesn't have the infrastructure, because obviously it doesn't have the kind of hype around it, etc., etc. People then look down upon it. You know what I mean? When the Copa America's on, everyone loves it because the better players are on there. But you got to remember now, African football is producing one of the best talents in strikers. If you look at the leading strikers now in the world, Osimhen, Boniface, there's so many strikers that now are coming and emerging from Africa that now people are starting to see, wow, there's a lot of strikers that are coming from Africa here. What's going on? And I feel like for me, that idea, that people look down on it, I think it's wrong, man. I think ultimately, the club is the continent is trying to do better in that, is striving for that.
How much
But
of it do you
obviously
think is
more people
racism? Let's be blunt, Saeed.
No, of course. You know what it is though? It is racism as well, but also it's ignorance as well, Nuruddin. It's ignorance as well. There is, for me, racism as well. Yeah, when you look at the racism as well, some of them is that they're not even understanding what African football means to people. That idea as well is also the lack of intelligence as one thing, but also the ignorance. I think a lot of people are just ignorant. It's like you say now we're talking about, let's say, Palestine as well. People don't want to know about what's happening in Palestine. Ignorance is coming into it. Yes, it's Islamophobia. Yes, it's so many other things. But ultimately, it's the understanding of the situation and what's going on there. Nobody wants to know. So if I say to someone now, AFCON's happening. Why is he going to AFCON? We want him over here. Again, it's ignorance. Because you're saying to yourself, that means then African football doesn't mean anything to them. Well, it does mean something to them. So I look at it thinking, you know what, man? It's so ignorant to people's culture and the way it is. But we want to watch that football. We want to watch this football. We want to watch CONCACAF and all this. But when it comes to helping African nations, we always turn a blind eye to it. That's why I think a lot of people are very angry at Onana, because he needs to take it into consideration that, take it seriously, go there, help support your country, then come back. Simple. But I think a lot of it comes down to ignorance already. I think most of them don't even know that AFCON's even happening. I think most of them are like, oh, is it AFCON? I didn't know AFCON was every 2 years. They don't know.
Yeah.
They don't know what they're doing.
Tom, I'll ask you the same question. I think partly it's racism, partly snobbery. Big up to everybody. Big up to Josiah said it's racism and snobbery, looking down like third rate. That's what it is. And that everything African is dirty. People are being conditioned to believe everything African is dirty, everything is lower standard. And Khalid said panel Asian Cup isn't going to be shown. And that's what I was saying. I want to see, because I want to see what the talents are. Because the global game, the game doesn't just belong to Europe; it belongs to the world. So this idea, let's see it all. Let's see all of it. I want to see all the aspects of it. I remember a couple of years ago they changed the AFCON to the summer, and I was like, yeah, that will take the tension in terms of fans and clubs being in that tension where they think, oh, their better players might be going. When not in our case, he's our shittest fucking goalkeeper. I can't believe we got rid of De Gea for this shot. We needed to get rid of De Gea, but Onana is shit. Let's get it. Let's get something.
Yeah.
He is fucking shit, right? Let's not mince it. But his disrespect that he's shown to Cameroon for me and everything that comes with it, Tom, I think it's snobbery. I think it's racism. And I do also think 100% agree with Said. It's also ignorance. But go ahead, Tom.
I think ultimately, guys, it comes down to money. And when you look at something, for example, with BBC and say ITV, if they cover the Euros will have more viewing ratings than the AFCON will in this current state and era. It will, unfortunately, and the reason why it equates down to money, because people want to watch European football, top European football. AFCON, the way that would have set AFCON up in a better position now would have been when Ghana got as far as they did at that World Cup. If they'd have gone on to win that World Cup, everybody would have started to watch the AFCON, because that would have been a turning point to say an African team can go on the world stage and compete with the best in Europe and in the world, all of the top nations, and they went on and won it. That would intrigue people. That would make people think, oh well, this small country within Africa has gone on to be world champions. When you have the likes of the Argentinians, the Brazilians, the English, the French, all these brilliant nations, South America, North, from Europe, East Asia, like it would happen. But ultimately, as what Saeed said, it comes down to a couple of things: money, ignorance, And I think the final big thing for me, anyway, would be infrastructure. Because they don't have the major infrastructure, it's a problem.
Shout out to Kante and them, man. And Mane as well. Shout out to them, man.
Yeah, even down to the if you even go down to what happened with South Africa when they got the rights for the World Cup, like it came down to the point where UEFA had to fund them to build new stadiums. They had to improve on the infrastructure that they already had, just so that they met the threshold to host the World Cup, and then they allowed it there because they promised the UEFA and FIFA presidents at the time had promised an African nation that they would host it, and then in the latter 5 years after that, they promised that a Gulf state would have the opportunity to host it, and then ever since the Qatar World Cup, they promised that another Gulf state in the next 10, 12 years will have the opportunity, and that looks like it will be Saudi Arabia. So they make up on their promises, but as a whole, collectively, they don't do enough for world football. They don't. They turn a blind eye to stuff like the AFCON. And when it doesn't have the major TV coverage that other international tournaments do, I mean, let's place facts, guys. Who gives a fuck about the UEFA Nations League? Who gives a fuck about it? I don't. I personally don't. It's a made-up tournament, another one by UEFA. Who gives a fuck about the FIFA Club World Cup that City's just won?
Yeah, that's
in
facts.
in Saudi Arabia. Who watched that, guys?
No, you're speaking facts.
Apart
You're a
from
nation, nobody
City
cares.
Fans. No, nobody cares.
It's true.
But the AFCON, for example, the AFCON's like the Euros to us. It's like the Copa America to South Americans, to Latin America. That's their tournament as a whole. But nobody wants to talk about it, and it is disrespected, and it is plain ignorance. But it's what you said, Said, anyway. Big up to countrymen from all those nations. Yaya Toure, I can put in that conversation. You have it with Samuel Eto'o. You have it with Sadio Mane. The money that they make from their Drogba, the money that they make from their playing careers, they send back home. They say, let's try and build infrastructure. Let's try and globalise our country as a nation. Samuel Eto'o did the best thing that I thought of anyway within Cameroon, where he went and built up himself within football. He got his UEFA directors and owners license, and then he went and took over the Cameroonian Football Federation as their president. So then he's now as a head, he leads it for the whole African Cup of Nations going forward. When they go for a UEFA bid, for example, and they try and get as many African teams in the drawing pots so that they can get them to the World Cup, Samuel Eto'o plays a major factor in that now. But he's had to work 10 years externally from the football pitch to even try and make that happen. And there's no guarantee that African nations will have more than one place in a World Cup. And the problem, Rosso says it perfectly. The problem with AFCON is it doesn't bring in enough money and enough attention. And the reason why it doesn't, guys, is because nobody's taking a gamble or a risk on it. I am shocked that a major brand like an Amazon, like an Apple, who are in the TV rights business, have not taken something like this and said, let's run with it for the next 2-3 tournaments of it and see how we do. Take a gamble on it. Because if you put it in an Amazon subscription that you can watch the AFCON, people will watch because people use Amazon Prime.
But
in the same way that they use Apple TV, in the same way that they might use Sky TV. Yeah, you need to put it on a platform and a pedestal.
But the big thing is this:
for it to grow.
Yeah, but the big thing is that they'll shove American football down our throats. Have you seen on Sky? They're shoving American.
Oh yeah, this is what I mean, like with the fucking NFL and the NHL and the fucking BRM or whatever. Fucking Billy Boys motorcycle club.
They want to show working class people show golf in front of working class people. Like, you can't even afford to go and register at a golf club, but they want to shove that down people's noses. Football is the most common denominator in terms of the global game. You don't need that many things, equipment, anybody can play. For me, I think it's everything everybody said. And the other thing as well, shame on some of those African countries as well, some of the leadership, because some of these are so colonized, they don't even know where they're going at. Big up Samson, I'm half Nigeria. I think you're being harsh about the AFCON. What are their prospective Africans doing to promote AFCON? Not much. The fact that governance.
No, of
I thought
course.
they did a good thing. I thought they did a good thing when they turned it into the summer. But then FIFA were like, oh, it could have interfered with the nations and all of that kind of. That's what I heard.
Yeah.
It could be wrong.
To be fair,
It could be
to be
wrong.
fair, it's gonna be too hot. It's too hot anyway. It's too hot in the summer anyway. They couldn't do it in the summer. It's too hot.
It's the same thing when they did it with the Qatar World Cup, though. They were going to plan it through the summer, but then over the 12 years when they had the bidding ballot sheet for it, when they realised that the climate was getting hotter and hotter in the Middle East, they had to switch it to Christmas. In the same way, guys, when Saudi Arabia hosts the 2020, is it 2032 or 30 World Cup, whatever, when they host that potentially, well, in say another 12 years, 10 years time, the climate's only going up, guys. And we're not talking geopolitics here and about climate change or anything, but this is facts. And the common denominator behind all of it falls down to one thing: money. That's the issue, money. And the fact when Saudi Arabia have bought their way into football in the day and era that they have, and they have one good transfer window, they changed the landscape of their whole football league. They went from the lowest rated league in the football sphere in the world, and they made the top 12. I think it was, what was it, the top 12 or 15 most watched leagues in the world. From nowhere to there in the space of one transfer window. And the common denominator of why they was able to do that was money. But the AFCON has been disrespected and been blacklisted over for the past, decades, because nobody's prepared to take a hit or a risk on it.
Easy.
But you need to have a broadcaster or a sports representation, likes of a BT, an Amazon, an Apple, do it for a 6-month trial, a 6-year trial or something, cover 3 tournaments. If you make a bit of money out of it, they'll keep doing it. And you've got a business model there to work from. But the problem is, if nobody's prepared to take a risk on it, you don't know what the potential is there. But this is why people now, they don't look at Sky for subscriptions anymore. They don't look at Amazon. They don't look at BT for subscription writings. And let's face facts, guys. People have to go on the dark web just to watch these things, these competitions, and it's a disgrace that you have to do that.
No, listen. It's, to me, I look at it and I just think it's not just 1 or 2 things, but it's 3 or 4 or 5 things.
The whole, Ludwig, it's a whole conversation around it. It's for me, it's that understanding of wanting it to succeed. Yeah. It's the ignorance, obviously the casual racism as well. It's the covert racism. It's, I mean, there's so many things that are there, and obviously it's down to the governing bodies as well. The African governing bodies, they have a lot of money. I know a lot of people say they don't have money.
When they go together, they do.
But they don't. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Now, do they want to help each other out? They want to help each other. That's one thing you have to ask yourselves. I don't think they do.
No.
So,
and the way that you can see that for a fact, anyway, Said, is when you have, nations. For example, Egypt was going to be a part of Turkey and Greece's bid to host the World Cup, like as a multinational World Cup. How the fuck do you make that work? You telling me that Egypt can't work together with the Ivory Coast, with Cameroon, with whatever nations, and you span it over 3 or 4 nations to host a World Cup? You've just seen the model that's been set out. North America, Canada, Mexico, they're prepared to do a joint bid as a trio. But in politics, they fall short of each other and they want to rival each other. But when it comes to something that they can make and generate revenue from and popularity from as nations, they're prepared to join together. You're telling me Cameroon, Ivory Coast, whatever nations in AFCON can't put the differences aside for one moment just to think, let's join together as a joint tournament, let's populise our countries, let's put money in our pockets, make our economy stronger, infrastructure stronger, because we'll get UEFA's black book out so that they can build us new stadiums and infrastructure within our clubs. Oh, and finally, we can also make ourselves as a nation better off for the future than we're in the situation that we're in now. But no, it's blatant ignorance, and the world's ignorant to it. But the problem, I'm going to just say it for what it is, guys. If they're not prepared to join together to host a World Cup or even put a credible bid in, that just summarises why people and why probably broadcasters won't take a risk on them or this competition is because they're not prepared to join together. They need to join forces to then go somewhere
honestly,
collectively.
Yeah. The biggest thing for me is that the reason why most Africans are divided is because it's to rip come on, Tom, you understand, you're a journalist. It's to rape the resources and to bend them over. We all know that. We all know that.
But the common thing that comes back to it, Nuruddin, is what? Money.
Yeah.
Money,
But the money,
money's attached to it.
But the fact is, Tom, Europe will not be the same without African resources. China will not be the same. The US will not be the same because of all of the minerals and resources are there. So Africans have to be kept divided, and everything has to be pushed down for African. That's the truth matter, people. But big up, Wasim says, freedom from the oppression. Electonite gracious. Big up, gents. Freedom from oppression. Wasim, big up to you, man. Freedom to oppression from the Palestinians, man. Africa is his own enemy. It will never unite. Why? Because listen, there are forces at work. Look what's going on in the Congo now. Free Congo, by the way. You understand why Congo has been the way it's been?
For real.
Yeah, what it's been like that. You go and look at the multinational corporations that are behind it, and British, American, French politicians that all got their hands dirty, mate. Don't think it's not just the Africans. No, it's the big money, billionaire, hidden power that's behind it, meddling all of the time, assassinating leaders right, left, and centre. That's what happened. Big up Jarvis. Remember when Marquis played for Wales and Bayern Munich on the same day? Do you think that was so disrespectful to Wales? That was very long time ago, Jarvis. Very long time ago. But he was a proud Welshman and he wanted to play that. I personally don't think he should have gone. But now the rules are different. FIFA have specific rules. The rules is when you get called up for your country, unless you're injured or you're mentally not well, if you're physically and mentally fit, you go. And that's why I don't believe. I think Manchester United are disrespectful. And I think Andrew Onana, that's how he thinks about it. And it's not just me saying it. There's a lot of Cameroonians who are saying it. His own country people are like, what a disrespect. What is he doing, the donkey? And they don't even want him. Some of the fans don't even want him to play. They're like, he's shit. We don't want him to play.
Well, the fact that we even have to have this conversation just shows how much of a scandal it is. You shouldn't have a question mark over if you represent your country or not. Like, if you do, for example, what some players do, where they just retire from international football, then do what Varane did. He looked at the end of the World Cup and he said, look, there's some younger kids who are far more hungry, going to be far more better players probably than I will be in the French national team. Todibo was there, Saliba, all these young French defenders. He thought, I'm going to step to one side and I'm going to let them go on for the future in my place. And I want to focus on myself, club football, and my family. And he pulled away from it. If Andrew Onana doesn't have the bollocks to do that, based upon what?
Just pull out. Just pull out.
Just pull out. Pull out. Why?
Pull out.
When you come to Manchester United, you had all these issues with the coach, and you had all these, scandals that you was having, saying that, they weren't prepared to, let me come over to the training camp early. The coach wanted me to play a certain way, and I didn't believe in the way that he was playing because I want to play like a madman with a ball at my feet, and he just wants me to loop it long Sean Dyche Ball FC. Like, if you're not going to take it seriously, Onana, then just jack it in then. If you don't want to go, why did you not just say that to the coach or to the federation? Look, I don't want to go. You can make a decision for me, or if need be, I'll just retire from the whole thing already. He's 27, 28 now. Like, make a decision, Andre. Let's face facts. You've probably got, as a goalkeeper, maybe if you're lucky, 10 years left in the game.
No,
if you don't want to spend 10 years representing Cameroon, jack it in then.
He already did, and he went back on it, and that's what I'm saying.
This is what I mean. He
went back on it. So
that's why it makes him look silly.
And then you're still disrespecting them. You're not fully back. You're half back. But listen, we'll go on to the last topic, the last 5 minutes. But Big Up said, remember when United disrespected the 2011? What was that? Because England, you know the story because of the FA. It was the FA who wanted the World Cup, and they said to Manchester United, please get involved in this. And I will never forgive the Fergie and everybody else on the club who agreed to that. But it was the FA The pressure from the FA to do this for England was the worst. And England fans hate Manchester United anyway. It's one of the most disrespectful.
Max.
I didn't even watch those games. I saw some of the highlights. I didn't even watch them. I was that outraged. You know me. You know, if you know me, FA Cup is my favorite trophy. It's it's the oldest cup competition in world football, and it's one of my favorite trophies for Manchester United to win. Cup final days are legendary in my eyes. So at the end of the day, it's what it is. But Saeed, your favorite topic, Eric Ten Hag's waffles are coming out. He still thinks we're in a title race. Go.
Listen, he's concussed, man. Shout out to Wilson, man, but he's concussed, man. Listen, we ain't no title race. I don't know if it means that mathematically United are a title race. Maybe we are. You know, maybe United are mathematically in the title race, but listen, he needs to just sort himself out and find out how we're going to score goals, how we're going to concede less, how we're going to go on a winning run, how this Man United team is going to actually not be frauds, you know, players that brand of football that's actually entertaining. You know, he needs to worry about that, man, because we're not in no title race. Listen, a lot of people say, "Oh, Casemiro's going to be back and Lissandro, the season starts again." We had that with Luke Shaw. We had that with so many players. When they come back, United are back. Nothing's happening, mate. So this manager, I just don't know. I genuinely, you know, Nuruddin, I know you watch a lot of the press conferences or what, but for me, he makes me like more mad when I watch him, like, you know, press conference and what he's saying. Like, genuinely, man. Like, it's just the waffle that comes out of him. It's just too much for me, man. The thing that he said about Donny, I just think that everything about it right now, Ten Hag, man, he just doesn't say the right things. Before last season, he said the right things, you know, Nuruddin. He said, good isn't good enough. He said, you know, we need to be very, very strong. Mentality has to be. Now, I just see a guy making excuses, overachieved, blah, 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 this and that. And I'm like, broski, allow me, innit? Allow me. I don't want to be part of this. So yeah, man, I just don't know, man, with this manager anymore, man, Nuruddin. I really, really don't. He just, for me, just very, very, he's confusing me a lot, man. And I don't like that for me, Nuruddin. So yeah, we're not in no title race. Just to let people know we're not in no title race. Yeah, I mean, we are in the top 4, if that, top 5, top 6. You know what I mean? That's where we are, man. Reality needs to kick in with this guy, man. I don't know what's wrong with him, man.
Definitely. Pick up Jarvis. Go, Jarvis, I know you're messing around. And I know that for the younger generation, they will never know that. And that is the fantastic quiz question. That is that I've been in that quiz at the pub, and that question has come up, and I knew it straight away. Sparky. The reason why I support Manchester United, people, Mark Hughes. First game ever at Old Trafford. My uncle, rest in peace. I was there. Mark Hughes, overhead kick, the rest was history. There we go. The rest was history. Mark Hughes is your man. That's the reason why I support Manchester United, mate. Mark Hughes, watching him live for the first time, I was in awe. The size of the man, the strength of the man. If you can talk about, to me, he's one of the best back to goal strikers I've ever known, ever, I think, me personally, ever. The strength, the skill. He didn't score a lot of goals, but he scored a lot of spectacular goals, mate. Oh, my God. How many over the kicks? But yeah, Ten Hag, for me, is like a rabbit caught in the headlights. And Saeed, I'm not going to lie to you. I pointed it out at the beginning of the season. During the thing, I pointed it out. The man had different energy. It's always the US tours. Remember, Jose, everything was fine the season before he goes to the US. Energy. What is it in the US? What's on the water there? Everybody starts turning dizzy, mate. And to me, he's still in the US, mate. He's still in the US. He's talking, acting like he's still in the US. Just absolute level of delusion. So,
it's
the
delusional,
waffles,
man.
to me, now they're getting laughable. But go ahead, Tom. Last moment of the show tonight before we wrap up.
Yeah. We've had this same conversation with Louis van Gaal. After the FA Cup final that he'd won, he was celebrating everything, but he was sweating because he didn't know what was going to happen above him. They got rid of him. You had the same thing with Mourinho, where he did quite well in the second season, finished second. There was a bit of success there with some trophies that he'd won as well. There was a promise that Ed Woodward had made him from above that he would have backing to solidify his defenders that he needed to defensively solidify United because they were leaking too many goals. They didn't give him the funds that he needed to buy the players. He threw up a fuss. He lost his assistant coach. Mourinho then, splurted out and came out with these same comments. He criticised the players. He criticised the directors. He said Ed Woodward's a bastard. He went back on his word. He shook my hand. Everything. Blah blah blah. You said you had the same thing. We had the same thing with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. We've
all been there, innit? We've seen it all, innit? We've got the T-shirt, basically, Tom. We've got the T-shirt. We've watched it. We've watched
Yeah.
it.
They put Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in front of a camera and made the guy fucking cry. I mean, this football
Honestly,
club, it does everything to these
shocking,
managers.
mate.
It really does.
Honestly.
And Eric Ten Hag
No, we
now.
sent him fishing first. We sent him fishing for 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah,
remember?
sorry. We sent him to Norway fishing. He hooked up with Jarvis, you know. He hooked up with Jarvis.
Literally like that.
Caught a bit of bait.
Oh, God.
Bait. And then all of a sudden, you get to
He's
the
crying.
point now where you are with Eric Ten Hag, and he's coming out saying things like Man United are in a title race.
Honestly, it's a joke. It's a joke.
He's deluded, man.
He said 2 trophies to go
Even Manchester United, even Manchester City have a game in hand, and we're not even going to fucking catch them.
Listen, it's the first time. It's the first time we've done a proper structured podcast.
Big up, man.
We've done 4 topics, and we've covered 4 topics. So congratulations, Therapy Army. Big up to Saeed and Tom.
But we like the video. We need to find out the likes, though, man. What's the like saying, Nordin?
Saeed, I don't even ask anymore. Saeed, I don't even ask anymore, honestly. I don't. I've given up.
That's sad.
They're stingier than the Glazers, and that's saying something. That's me being polite. That's me being polite. And then they Saeed just let them know when you're live in it. Ooh, big up to Michael Carrick and Middlesbrough tonight.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
I'm not going to be doing the watch along, but I'll be live tomorrow. So tune in tomorrow, straight Mandem Talk. So tune in. Love for having me on, man. Big up to Tom as well.
Listen, Saeed, big up Tom. Big up to you. Listen, Saeed, make sure you go and check Saeed out in all Saeed TV across all social media.
On,
Tom Journalist. Make sure you give him a follow. Yeah, big up to Saeed, man. Love and light. And you know where we are. Mr. Structure. That guy, Red Devil. Tom, you've been superb tonight, mate. On the last, when we finish up, we say free Palestine, free Congo, free Sudan, free Tigray region, free anywhere where people are oppressed, regardless where they are. And the man of mystery, Mr. International himself, Mr. Canary Wolf, 00 Tommy 7. 00 Tom. Tom, enjoy the rest of your evening. Look after yourself, eh? As a northerner, you're in the south, mate. You're in enemy territory, pal. Make sure you look after yourselves and stay away from those southern softies, pal. What's the temperature like in London?
Right now, well, it's at 7 right now, so it's not too bad. It's mild, I guess. But
yeah. Listen, there's no pause out here, Augustino. We're all grown up here, lad. No pause. Keep that London thing away from you with your pause. There's no pauses here. Free Palestine, fuck Zionism, 100%. Big up to Rashid, Sheikh Arian Rashid. Big up to you. Free Kemet, Africa. There you go. From all colonizers. There we go. Adrian Bricker. What 100%, man. 100%. Watch that. Watch out from the Ronnie Bricky, Tom. Big up, William. Ronnie's coming for you, mate. Ronnie Pickering is coming for you. Big up.
Nah.
Big up, Tom. Enjoy the rest of your night in London. Hope you get some food. And how long are you there for? You there for a couple of days?
Yeah, a couple of days, and then going back up to Sheffield. Well, planning to go back up to Sheffield for Thursday.
There you go. So enjoy the rest of your days. I'll be there with 1 million people on Saturday. So I'll see you at the march. If any of you are going to be in London for the biggest protest, Palestinian solidarity protest in the history of this country, I'll be there on Saturday. So check that out. Love, light, take care, everyone. Peace, love, light, win, lose or draw. Glazers out, Jim the Rat out, Dodgy Dave out. The quarter sexuals can do one. There we go, people. Tom, like he said, make sure at Tom Journalist 1, always informed, always analytical, always seeing it, always look on the bright side of life. Da-dum, da-dum, da-dum. That's what we do out here, people. So big up and love. And the thing we say lastly, free Palestine, free fucking Palestine. Fuck racism, fuck apartheid, fuck oppression, fuck dehumanization. Freedom, justice, but justice first, then the peace, then freedom. That's how it goes. It's justice, freedom, then peace. Justice, freedom, then peace. That's where we finish tonight, people. Justice, peace, freedom. Justice, freedom, peace. I said it the last time. Justice, freedom, and peace. Justice, freedom, and peace, people. That's what we want for everybody oppressed around the world, and especially the people who are getting genocided, especially with our tax money. Those of you who are in the UK and the US, we should be ashamed. And that's why I come on here and I go on the street and I say, not in my name. not in my name. The Palestinians teach me every day. They teach me about life. People in Sudan teach me about life. People in the Congo, they teach me about life. People in Tigray region, they teach me about life. They teach me to keep my humanity as well. So that's why I'm out there saying, not in my fucking name. Not in our name. Free fucking Palestine. From the river to the sea, to the sea to the river, Palestine will live forever. You can't kill them, mate. You can't. You can't kill them. You cannot kill them. Colonizers, take care. Love and light, people. Peace.